Hello everyone. I just wanted to post a dream that I had December 13th, 2012. It was a very short dream, kind of weird, so I just want to post it to see if anyone has any interpretation of the dream. When I woke up, I felt that I had some sort of interpretation, but wasn't really sure. So just post your comments, any feedback, I would appreciate it. But in the dream, I was standing, and I'm not even really sure where I was standing at. It kind of looked like I was in a desert. Looked like it could have been Arizona, Nevada, Utah, somewhere out there. It was just orange, like the dirt was like orange, orangey brownish color. And I'm just standing there in a dream, and I'm just like admiring the landscape. And there was like a rock formation, like a large kind of square with a lot of little holes in it. And I'm looking at the rock formation. And as I looked behind it, it was like the scenery was just open and vast. And all of a sudden there was a huge eagle's head that was cut off, laying on the ground. And it looked like laying in a canyon almost. That's how huge and vast this area was. And the head of this eagle was cut off like right where your collarbone would start. And in the dream, I'm saying to myself, what is that? Because not only was it the head of this particular bird, but the size of the head was so large. It looked like the head itself was about maybe between 9 and 12 feet big. And I'm standing there in amazement and in awe at the size of the head of this bird. And I'm saying to myself, is that a hawk or is that an eagle? And as I'm saying, is that an eagle? I'm like, but eagles aren't really located, in this area. And like I said, I didn't even know where I was at, but that's what I said in the dream. And I'm looking at the head, and I'm just in awe at the size of the head. And I'm looking, and I noticed there was no body to the bird. It was just the head had been decapitated. And all of a sudden, the head was like laying on its side. The head started swirling around and around and around. And the best way I could describe the way it was swirling, it looked as if it was in a toilet, like how the water starts to swirl around and around before it goes down. Well, that's how his head started swirling around and around and around. And all of a sudden, water, clear water, just came and went over top of the head and like washed it away. It was gone, and then I woke up. So when I woke up, I'm like, what in the world was that about? And I'm thinking to myself, what kind of bird was that? So I went on the computer and I Googled the difference between a hawk and an eagle, because like I said, I wasn't really sure what type of bird it was. And then images popped up, and right away the first bird that popped up was an American bald eagle. And I'm like, oh my God, that's the bird that I saw in the dream, because like all underneath the neck part was like fluffy white and everything. And I'm like, then there were images of hawks that popped up, and I'm looking, I'm like, no, that's not what I saw. So that just kind of gave as far as confirmation as to distinguish the specific type of bird that it was, and it was in fact an eagle. So then I'm just like pondering all day, like, Lord, what is the meaning of this? It was very weird and odd. It just like really didn't make any kind of sense. And then I'm saying to myself, like, well, does the bird represent something or someone? And I'm like, does the bird represent America? And the size, like I said, the size of this head was at least 9 to 12 feet in length of the eagle in the dream. And I was blown away at the size of the head, and then the way it just started swirling around and around and around, and then the water came over it and washed it away. So I'm still looking, to see if God will give me any more interpretation as to, that portion of the dream. And I called my mom, because she's normally a good interpreter of dreams, and I shared it with her, and, she felt as though the first thing came out of her mouth was that the bird represented America. And when I asked her about the swirling around and around, and I was trying to explain to her how it looked, and I said, well, the best way that I can describe how he looked going around was your water in the toilet goes around and around. And she said, well, that's a good analogy for America. She said America's like going down the toilet. So, she said, well, just write it down and keep praying, and maybe the Lord will give you more, clarity on the dream. But that's what she was picking up, in her spirit as far as the meaning of the dream. So, if anyone has any, a word from the Lord regarding it or any interpretation, please feel free to leave your comments. Thank you. God bless you. Bye-bye.